After a crazy presidential debate, some Democrats are saying that President Biden may be replaced. I'll give you the details in this video, as well as the Supreme Court just made a ruling basically legalizing bribery. That's right. I'll give you all the details of this and more in this video. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking these videos. Here we go. So President Biden appeared hoarse, and they're saying he had a cold, but a lot of people are going to continue to vote the way they will. Republicans voting for Republicans, Democrats voting for Democrats, especially with policies of Republicans and Democrats. But with last night's debate, well, here's a recap, 3 minutes of what happened. Take a listen here.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible.
The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run.
Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved.
I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon.
The idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong.
Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. And we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there.
You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
Now we're seeing a lot of reactions from different sides here. Headlines like this, quote, Biden stumbles, Trump lies, depending on, where you're looking at. We're also seeing a lot from both sides about President Biden being too old for the job with his performance last night. Quote, who could replace Joe Biden? Debate performance has Democrats in crisis. The president just gave his party a reality check. Where could Democrats go from here? This comes as President Biden is 81 right now, and former President Donald Trump is 3 years younger at 78 right now. And of course, they would have 4-year terms. Trump just had a birthday. I don't know off the top of my head when Biden's birthday is, if it falls in between now and the election or so. But if you add 4 more years, Biden would be 85 or so. I don't know if he falls 86 in there in the meantime. And Trump would be 78 plus 4 would be 82. So either of them winning the next election would be into their 80s. And you kind of got to wonder here, should we have a president into their 80s? Trump appeared more with it than Biden during the election. Biden held his own. He stumbled at some times. And this is a debate setting. Presidents aren't normally doing debates. This is kind of a one-off thing. They have time to make decisions. They have staff. They have military that are, making military, helping them with decisions. They have generals and stuff like that. They have the FBI with intelligence. They have whole teams of support there. Generally when they're making military decisions, they have 4-star generals, 5-star generals, helping them with military decisions. On a debate setting, this is kind of a one-off thing where they're basically there, on the spot making, counter intelligence or, counter talk like that, just on the spot right there. Not really something that they normally do in that, it's not like they're going over and like, debating Putin on a daily basis, right? But it does make you kind of wonder, should there be an age limit on presidents? Should presidents be able to go into their 80s? There are some jurisdictions that limit the ages on judges, per se, albeit our Supreme Court, which we'll get to here next, has no limitations and they can stay there until forever and until they die or they recuse themselves and step down and retire. And then there's also, senators and House representatives that can stay there forever until they keep getting voted in. And what's crazy enough is 90% plus of people in the House and the Senate keep getting elected every election. And people wonder why this happens. There's no term limits, but people keep voting for them. 90% of plus of people in the House and the Senate keep getting voted in. People want change, but they keep voting in the same people. So it's like we only have ourselves to blame. And these are the two candidates we have, two 80-plus-year-old men that will be there. Kind of makes you wonder, will we have change, but we keep voting in the same people? And for Biden to not be the candidate, he actually hasn't been um, selected as the Democratic candidate yet until August. He actually can just step down. He actually can say, oh, I have health problems, whatever, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he could step down really at any point. And then the Democrats can say, oh, well, he had to step down because of health problems or whatever. And he can just say, well, they put somebody else in. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump mentioned the 3 Supreme Court justices that he put personally on the Supreme Court, which will stay there for a lifetime, right? There's no limits there. They stay there forever until they pass away. The Supreme Court just basically legalized bribery. By sheer coincidence, this ruling concerns the sort of generous gifts and gratuities that justices have been known to accept. And these people must think we're stupid when you actually listen to this. Take a listen here. Did you know you could give your local government officials tips when they do things you like? Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice, thinks you can. In fact, if you're rich enough, says the U.S. Supreme Court, you can now pay off state and local officials for government acts that fit your policy preferences or advance your interests. The Supreme Court now says you can do this. You can give them lavish gifts, send them on vacations, or simply cut them a check. You can do all of this so long as the cash gifts or other gratuities are provided after their service, not before it, after they provide their service, their ruling, or whatever they do for you, so long as a plausible deniability of the meaning and the intent of these gratuities is maintained. That was the ruling authorized by Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh in the Snyder versus United States and a 6-3 opinion issued on Wednesday. And of course, the 6-3 opinion was 6 Republicans versus 3 Democrats. And this is why, if you've ever watched me, I just look at things in black and white. Coincidentally, my screen is here in black and white. I don't always side with Republicans. I don't always side with Democrats. And it's absolutely absurd to think that this is something that the United States wants to be able to bribe government officials and judges. The Supreme Court dealt the latest blow to federal anti-corruption law in the case which was divided above or along lines. The court held that gratuities, that they're calling these gratuities, is post facto gifts and payments are not technically bribes and therefore not illegal. As I said, they must think that we are stupid and that we're going to allow this, we're going to accept this. And the problem here is that there's no higher judges in the land. So only Congress, I think, can overrule this. And we as people are going to allow this? Oh, my God. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know your thoughts if you're a Republican. That we're going to allow bribes to justices, judges, congressmen, senators? Hey, do me this favor or vote this specific way, and I'll give you $1 million. We just literally legalized bribery to government officials. The Supreme Court says. This is the United States of America, and they just said this in public that they're going to allow this. Just unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe down below, click the bell icon, and I will continue to bring the truth. No matter what side of the aisle it is, because that's what I do. I'm a realist, and I bring you the truth no matter what side of the aisle it is on. And honestly, I think if you're a Republican today, you need to be disgusted at this one specific point. We can't allow this. We can't just do this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please make sure to like and share this video so more people can see this. We can't just let the Supreme Court get away with this. Thanks. Click here to see why our country is under attack and who. Click here to see the new military draft bill that was just passed. Thanks, and I'll see you in one of those videos next.